Hello and welcome to the Valley. Today I am your host, Janet Michael. It is Tourism Tuesday on the show today, and I have extra special guests that we're going to have a conversation with. Brandon Teets is joining me along with his mom, Julie Teets. Micah Howard is on the Zoom with us as well from the Southern Ghost, and you're wondering, who are these people and why are they on a Tourism Tuesday episode of the Valley today? Well, there's a country music festival coming up to benefit Katie's Comfort House. Katie was Brandon's sister, Julie's daughter. So we're going to learn a little bit about what your mission is for Katie's Comfort House today and how we can all participate in helping you get this house built while listening to some really great country music all at the same time. So thank all three of you for making some time this morning to chat with me.
Thank you for having us.
Julie, I want to start with you. I have to say that I am embarrassed that I had not heard of Katie's Comfort House. I think I had seen a trailer sitting somewhere with a sign on it. And then after we connected earlier in the week, I started asking everybody, have you ever heard of Katie's Comfort House? And apparently everybody on the planet has heard of it except for me. So I apologize in advance for that. But tell me a little bit about Katie.
She lived life full. She did. Went through school, soccer player, captain of the soccer team, went to George Mason, got her BSN, wound up becoming a neurotrauma intensive care nurse at Winchester Medical Center. She was vibrant. She was something. At the age of 26, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. It was triple negative BRCA1. She battled for a year, had just bought her house right before she was diagnosed, about 9 months before then. And from the day she was diagnosed, 9 months after she moved into her house, she moved back home. So she stayed with us. It was supposed to be 6 months, wound up being a year. She underwent the double mastectomy, all the treatments, 4 rounds of chemotherapy. Just when we thought she's healthy, we sold her house. We bought another one. Katie actually chose the house that we're currently in. I didn't even want to come take a look at it. We went through full renovations on the inside for the first 2 months that we were here. Katie was healing from the double mastectomy, the chemotherapy, and 2 months after we moved in here, she went back to work at Shenandoah Oncology as an infusion nurse on the other side of the chair. That tells you a lot about who Katie was.
Right?
It takes a special person to go back into that setting. 4 months after that, she was re-diagnosed on Christmas Eve. We found out that she had so many tumors on her liver that they couldn't count them. She asked her oncologist how long she had. He told her 3 to 12 months. Her boyfriend of a couple months that she'd been dating proposed to her on New Year's Eve. She was married 5 months later and passed away 3 weeks after she was married. So with her re-diagnosis, I had nightmares of the house that she chose, of her passing in it. And had she passed away at home, we would have put the sign in the front yard the next week. It's not something I could have done because we see life here. She passed away at Winchester Medical Center. We were in the comfort care room. They did the best that they could do for us. But for 2 days, we sat on nurses' chairs and had rested our heads on Katie's bed. We couldn't leave her. I needed fresh air. I couldn't get outside. It would have taken me 20 minutes to leave her, and I could miss something that I could never get back. It was the worst thing that's ever happened in my life, hands down.
Something like that is traumatizing to the entire family. I think sometimes we think of the person who is suffering through the cancer or the illness or the disease, and we forget that it does filter out into all of their family members around them as well.
Absolutely.
100%.
And I think that's what stood out to us the most is we all lose somebody. Unfortunately, we're all on that path. But how do we make it easier to say goodbye to folks? Katie was treated very well at the hospital. She was one of their own. They did absolutely everything they could to keep us comfortable, but it was limited. And we don't want that limiting factor anymore. We want to help those that are walking away from this tragic time. So that's where Katie's house was born. It was actually the night before she passed. We were all sitting around her bed and looked at each other and said, we need to make this better. And that's what we're doing. So we're raising money now to build a house in her name where friends and families can be with their loved ones in their final days and hours, a place that has all the accommodations of a medical facility or a hospital, but it feels like home. We have had a rendering drawn of Katie's house. We know what it's going to look like, and it is very much based on the house that she chose for our parents. It was just by happenstance that the house she chose, the layout would be perfect for what we're trying to do. We're going to start off with 6 rooms. Every room has its own access to the outside. So you can go outside, get some fresh air, scream, pray, yell, do what you need to do. There'll be a communal living room, communal kitchen with ovens and fridges, just like you would have in your home, stocked pantries. But if you come in and you have little kids, there'll be a PlayStation or an Xbox in the living room, a place for you to kick off your shoes and sit back on a lazy boy and feel like you're at home.
I think that is so incredibly important, particularly when you're talking about small children, because there are probably a lot of families out there that don't allow their small children to say goodbye to a loved one because they don't want them to have that memory of a hospital setting. No matter how nice they try, and they do a very good job at Valley Health, but no matter how hard they try, that's still a hospital setting. So I love that you've really thought of all of the little things to make this more of the personal experience that it absolutely is.
By the time Katie's house reaches, the loved one's not going to know where they are.
Right.
It's in the final stages. So how can we take care of the families, the ones that are being left behind with such a loss that we all had, their sister, my daughter? It was so incredibly difficult for us as a family. How can we make that a more beautiful experience? Because like Brandon said, we're all going to lose someone. We're all on a one-way street. There's no getting out. It's going to happen. You're born and you pass. So how can we make it a more beautiful experience to say goodbye?
And on the other side of the road from the hospital, you're correct. They do an amazing job, but it is limited. And you're also limited at home too, at your own home. It's very hard for some elderly loved ones to take care of those that are passing at home. Some people aren't comfortable with passing at home. So we're just trying to give people another option.
I also think that it's interesting that you have thought too from that medical side, because like you mentioned, sometimes people do want to go home, but there's so much required medically for them to be able to do that, or maybe not, but then in those last moments, some sort of crisis happens and then they have to go by ambulance back to the hospital, which defeats the whole purpose. So I love that you've really thought through what all the scenarios could be and tried to check those boxes.
We appreciate that. And it's unfortunately all experience driven, but it's something that needs to be done and it will be done and we're going to do it.
And this isn't an inexpensive venture either. It's not like you're just building a house. This has a whole lot more involved in making it come to fruition.
It's definitely been a lot of fundraising. We hit the ground running a month after Katie had passed.
Actually, it was right after she passed. While we were planning her celebration of life, we started planning our board. We were making phone calls, not only to set up the celebration of life, but will you be our president? Will you be our vice president? Are you interested in this? Are you interested in a board position? And we had our first board meeting a month after Katie passed, within a month after she passed.
I did do a little research before we jumped on the Zoom. I try not to always know all of the things because I feel like it adds more to the conversation if I'm actually dumb about some of this stuff. And I noticed that your board president is Richie Molden, who I like very much. So good choice in a board president.
Richie is actually outgoing now. His term is up at the end of this month. So we will have a new president coming in. We hope to have Richie back. And for all intents and purposes, Richie was an uncle to Katie. I've grown up with Richie. We've known each other since we were 3 and 4. So very near and dear to our hearts.
It's also impressive that you guys as a family didn't say, hey, we're going to do this and then get lost in the planning or be overwhelmed by what this journey ahead of you was going to be like. You actually took the time to put together a board, to create the bylaws, to have some structure, because on the flip side of that, people that want to donate are going to appreciate that you are an actual nonprofit, that you are a real organization. That's really going to help you get to that goal that much faster.
When we look back now, everything that Katie had put into place, either intentionally or non-intentionally, before she even got sick, came around 360 to help us out. Her connections at the hospital, her friends, her little fingers throughout the community. I hate to say it was easy, but it was very helpful for us getting started. Everything fell into place. It seemed like it was meant to be. We start fundraising. The community wrapped their arms around us and what we were doing and our mission. and it made it all that much easier and enjoyable to get this up and running. And like you said, now just about everybody you talk to has heard of it in some way, or has seen our trailer or seen a flyer for an event somewhere, and it's growing rapidly. It has been a lot of fun and a lot of challenges along the way fundraising, but it's definitely been easier than it could have been. So we just can't thank the community enough for helping us along the way.
Somebody mentioned to me something about cinnamon rolls. They were shocked that, given that I absolutely love cinnamon rolls, they're like, wait, have you not ever had those? I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
So it's a bread recipe that was my great grandmother's that I learned how to make bread when I was 8. Brandon, when he went to Sharando, 10th grade, the football team went to state. So I was one of the moms that helped feed the kids on Thursday nights and Friday before games. And I know they got so tired of pasta. So I decided I'm going to take this bread and I'm going to make these ginormous cinnamon rolls. So I made them, and it took me about 8 hours to make 130 of them. We now are able to make about 2,600 in about 7 to 8 hours because we have volunteers that come in. My husband and I installed a very large kitchen with 5 ovens down in our basement. It's an industrial type kitchen. So now that's how we make the cinnamon rolls. It's multi-purpose too, because I always host for all the holidays. So we use it quite a bit, but that's become a thing. And it's funny to circle back to where we were a little while ago, where Brandon was talking about Katie being throughout the community. It's amazing the people that have learned about Katie's house. Katie fought publicly. She was a private person. She really was. She was the loudest in the room, but not to draw attention to herself, but she was the loudest in the room. But she didn't want idle conversation and third-party information about her battle. So she made it very public. So many people watched her journey for 2 years, and they may not have met her, but they watched her journey on social media. They saw her wedding dance, which is on our website. The way things have come back around, her being through the community, it's God's work. It's all worked out the way that it was supposed to work out. It's hard for us to swallow that sometimes, but Katie's the reason. We're just the missionaries.
You've got this big country music festival concert coming up that I mentioned when we first started our conversation. Brandon, can you tell me when and where it is? Then we'll take a break, come back and talk a little bit more about the concert. Micah can tell us about his role in this concert. So when and where is it?
July 25th at the Monument on North Loudon Street, and the event is from 6 to 11.
And tickets are on sale now. People can get tickets?
Yes, ma'am. They can go to our website, katiescomforthouse.com, and under the events page, there'll be a link there for the Country Music Fest along with our other events. But all the events are being sold through Tixer. That's the easiest way to get to the link, or they can go to our Facebook page, Katie's Comfort House, and find the link on there.
Or also the Monument as well.
The Monument has it up on their page as well.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about this concert. We'll talk about some of the other fundraisers that you guys have coming up and how we as a community can come even more together to help you get this house under roof and be able to serve our community. Hello, nonprofits. Have a project that's been sitting on the back burner? United Way NSV's Day of Caring returns on September 19th, and your nonprofit can be a part of it. This is the region's largest single-day volunteer event with over 900 volunteers ready to help. Whether it's painting, landscaping, organizing, or repairs, Day of Caring gives your organization hands-on support and saves thousands in maintenance costs. It's simple. Submit your project, let United Way match you with a team, focus more of your budget on what matters most, your mission. Learn more at unitedwaynsv.org/Day of Caring or reach out to dayofcaring@unitedwaynsv.org. Let us send helping hands your way. Welcome back to the Valley today. I am your host, Janet Michael. It is Tourism Tuesday on the Zooms today. We are talking with Julie Teets and her son, Brandon Teets. They are the mom and brother to Katie Teets. We're talking about Katie's Comfort House. So we're going to learn more about some of their upcoming events and fundraising efforts. One of those things, Brandon, is Katie's Country Music Fest that's happening later this month on July 25th at the Monument. Why a country music festival? Was that Katie's favorite music?
It was. For the most part, we've always been country fans. And like I had mentioned before, everything fallen into place. Everything fell into place with the Country Music Fest. It was something that we had this idea of doing and then reaching out to bands to potentially play at the Country Music Fest. We became family with all the bands. It's just been natural. It made sense. It's been a hit. The first one we did was at Backseat Event Center 2 years ago, and it was incredible. We knew that we were doing it again for sure.
Who do you have performing at the festival this year?
This year we have Micah Howard, who's with us today, Ben Chapman, and Taylor Honeycutt.
We had hoped to get Taylor on the show with us today as well, but she's not even in the country right now as we're recording.
Exactly. She and her band are now in Norway. I just stalked them a little while ago. I just want to make sure that they made it there safe. But yes, they're in Norway, and then they'll come back and they'll have a very short break before they come to play for Katie's house.
This fall, they're actually opening at Red Rocks for the Red Clay Strays.
Wow, that's a really big deal.
It's a big deal.
They're doing amazing things.
So our first country music fest that we had 2 years ago, we happened to book 49 Winchester, who is another very large band now. We booked them right before they exploded. So what we paid them or what we got them under contract for, by the time they played for Katie's house the next spring, they were booking at 50 to 60,000. So we lucked out on that one, but that's actually how it was Jody Bloomfield that introduced us to Taylor Honeycutt. And of course, her husband, Josh, and their band, they've become family. And that's how we met Micah.
So, Micah, now you know in another year, you're going to be able to command a much larger fee when someone asks you to perform.
That's it.
I'm fine just doing stuff like this.
How do you fit into all of this? Did you know Katie? Had you heard of Katie's Comfort House or any of those kinds of things?
No, I met Greg, and I think Brandon and Michael were there. I went to the 49 Winchester show. I had just got back from contracting in Iraq, so I was kind of in a weird state, and they had Katie's Comfort House trailer set up. And I just started asking Greg about it, and he just told me the story and what everything's about, and it really connected with me to see what this family is doing. I feel like I know her, and she passed before I got a chance to meet her. But through the family and through them using music and building this community around it, it's just the power of music. And then Katie's spirit has just made something remarkable. And it's built this really tight community. We're selling tickets. These are all people we know pretty much. There's so many people in this community. I can't give you the number, but it's massive. And somehow we all know each other's names. It's wild. Yeah, and then I just clicked with the Teets, been staying at their house. They've just become family, and I feel like it's just a really powerful thing. I've never experienced it. And just serving in the Marine Corps and doing some combat tours, I've experienced loss, and I've seen loss, and I've seen families broken by loss. And everybody talks about they're going to do something for the memory. Everybody says that, but this family is actually doing it and doing it with prestige. Incredible. And I'm very happy to be a part of it and be a part of the community. I'm very grateful they asked me to play, and I get to carry on Katie's memory through the spirit of sound.
Tell me a little bit about your music, because country music isn't all one thing anymore. There are different variations of it. Tell me about what you play.
We're kind of categorizing it as Southern grunge. I've coined it as that. Kind of you take classic country, Southern rock, Marshall Tucker Band type stuff, and you blend it with Chris Cornell, Nirvana, Alice in Chains. So it's kind of that mashup. Because when I first heard Tyler Childers, I'm like, oh, that sounds like Kurt Cobain. They're doing it. They're mashing it, but it really didn't filter out like that. So me and my band decided to do it. My guitarist, Daniel Broderick, he's very astute in Southern rock and grunge. So it's just like a perfect matchup when we all get together.
I love that it's not two genres of music you would typically think to put together. But then
Exactly.
once you said it, I'm thinking, that could work.
Yeah. But it's got a lot of swamp in it too, because we're from the deeper South. I grew up in South Carolina, so that kind of swampy sound comes across. When our band plays with Taylor Honeycutt and her band, it's an awesome show because we both have that muddy swampness. Because she's from Alabama, she's got it. That little Hank Jr. thing she's got in a female version. And then we just come in with whatever we are.
Brandon, I would imagine having fundraisers like this are even better than some of the traditional fundraisers. Like a lot of groups and nonprofits will have dinners or galas. When you can put together a concert where people come and they're dancing around and they're leaving happy and excited, you've made some money, they're happy they were able to support you. It really is the best of both worlds.
It's great. It's been a whole lot of fun, and it was Katie. She was the partier. She wanted to get out. She wanted to do stuff. She's been knocked off of many chairs by ceiling fans at Piccadilly's.
And that's actually funny. I interviewed 6 contractors to do some renovations here at the house on the outside. I knew 5 of them did not know the 6th one. I thought I'm going to give him a shot because actually he did some work for Richie Molden. Well, long story short, it's been about a month ago and I've been working with this contractor for over a year. He actually said to me, my wife and I followed Katie's story. And I'm like, you never told me that. And he's only 35 years old. So he would have been 2-3 years older than Katie. So there's a chance maybe they might have known each other. But he said, we followed her story. And he said, here lately, I just really get this connection that I feel like I know her. So through further conversation, he's like, did she ever go to Piccadilly's? And I'm like, yeah, about that. So there's this one story that I tell about Katie because this shines her personality. She was at Piccadilly Brew Pub. A little bit too much to drink. Shania Twain's I Feel Like a Woman came on, and my daughter decides she's going to get up on the table. Now, the way I found the dent in her head was after she lost all of her hair. I would sit on the couch beside of her, rub her head, and I felt this dent. And I'm like, Katie, where did that dent come from? She says, yeah, Mom, about that. That was never leading into anything good with Katie. She said, Shania Twain's I Feel Like a Woman came on. I decided to get up on the table and dance, which I'm mortified at this point because Katie couldn't dance. She had none. It was so awkward and uncomfortable to watch her. It was awful. So she said, yeah, my head took out the ceiling fan. And I'm like, oh, are you kidding? She says, yes, I fell on the floor. However, she said, the bouncer helped me back up on the table and turn the ceiling fans off. As I was telling my contractor this story, because he asked if she hung out at Piccadilly's, he finished my sentence. He said, she fell off the table and I helped her back up.
Wow.
He was the bouncer at the time at Piccadilly's that helped Katie back up. The one story that I've been telling about her hundreds of times since she passed away, because it clearly shows who she is. What are the odds that I chose that contractor to do it? There's so many things like this that continuously happen. We could go on and on and on.
It's crazy. You like feel her in your house. When I'm there, it feels like she's there. And that's why these concerts are awesome, because you feel like she's there. I think God is using her spirit to really create something incredible. And she keeps showing y'all stuff constantly. And everybody I talk to just feels her aura. It's wild.
And I think that's why creating something like this house is so perfect on so many different levels, because it is something very personal. It is something that you would need someone with Katie's spirit to be able to keep moving this forward. And then you will have the privilege of being able to know that Katie is watching over everyone who comes through those doors. I have goosebumps. We're not even in the same room and I have goosebumps.
Katie started out, she got her CNA when she was in high school, and she worked at the Ameris at the time in Stevens City. She actually worked in palliative care. So the fact that Katie's house is there, there's just so many things that we could say. And honestly, if I look back over the many years, how things were set up, I'm surprised we didn't see it coming. Thank God we didn't. But I think he's done the best with what he could.
Do you have other fundraisers, concerts, things like that that are coming up throughout the summer or into the fall?
Absolutely. We like to party Katie style. That's why we do the concerts. We have a car show September 27th at Skyline Harley Davidson. We do galas, we do cash parties, we do raffles. We try to do a little bit of everything and have something for everyone. And I think that's another way this community has kind of wrapped around our story, and our mission is we have something for everybody. And of course, we're all in the same boat in life, but we do have a ton of great things happening every year, and our calendar and our events page on our website is always being updated with new things. But the biggest ones for the end of this year are the Country Music Fest, July 25th, Katie's Car Show, September 27th at Skyline Harley Davidson. And we will have a cash party coming up this fall as well, in October, Halloween themed cash party.
It's also important for people to realize that you both have full-time jobs.
Yeah.
And
Julie,
this,
you're a real estate agent. Brandon, you're a home inspector. It's not like this is the only thing that you're doing. You're out living life and have full-time jobs and still are managing to pull this off.
it's a passion, and it's a drive that the community is helping us with. We like to say our foot's on the gas pedal and we're not letting off. And we know this is a life commitment. We understand that. But we are also hoping that within the next several months, we will be making some very huge announcements, and we'll leave that question mark there. But we're hoping here very soon to be able to plant a sign stating future site of Katie's Comfort House. We're getting there.
When we were talking earlier in our conversation, we were talking that this isn't an inexpensive venture. How much money do you think you need to raise to even get to a point where you can put a sign in the ground?
Well,
Millions.
yes. Short answer, yes. The money that we've raised thus far has been invested heavily. We are creating an endowment for Katie's house, so we don't have to turn anybody away. If you don't have insurance, if you can't afford it, you can still use Katie's house. We are setting ourselves up for the future for Katie's Comfort House to last a lifetime and be for everyone. The endowment has been our focus and is a great focus when it comes to actually constructing the house. We have had people from the get-go reaching out to us saying, we want to do this, we want to do this, we want to do this. All in all, we have 90% of a house spoken for building wise. We're working on a place to put it. And here in the next couple months, we should have that place. We have a roof donated. We have electricians that are wanting to volunteer their time, HVAC donated, landscaping, concrete work, framing. We have it all ready to go. We're just waiting on that plot.
And not to mention, by being a public 501c3 and being in the county, which is where Katie's house will be, we can apply for local, state, and federal grants as well. So we're working on it, and we've got some powerful people behind us. We will be making that announcement here in the near future too. We have developed a beautiful relationship
with Blue Ridge
Care, and we've had several meetings with them. So hopefully we'll get everything legalized here in the next couple of months, and we will be officially partnering with Blue Ridge Care.
I'll have to have you guys back to make the announcement.
That would be great. Formal.
So Brandon, where's the best first place for people to go? Is it the website? Is it social media? Where should they start in their journey to learn more about Katie's Comfort House?
I would say go to our Facebook page first. We are constantly putting updates out there, pictures. You can scroll through the pictures from over the years, look at all of our events, watch videos. And the next would definitely be our website. You can actually go on the website and watch Katie's wedding video. She decided during her wedding she wanted to do a flash mob to surprise everybody. And it has become the rallying video, if you will, for the community. Everybody we talk to says they've watched it a dozen times and can't keep a dry eye throughout it, but that's on our homepage on our website, katiescomforthouse.com.
Micah, are you playing anywhere else in the near future that you want to let people know where you're going to be after this concert on the 25th of July?
Actually, I'll be in Maryland for the Cannon Fire Festival the weekend after the country concert. And then I'll be coming up to Winchester playing a lot of places, and I'll be posting that on also my Facebook if people want to find that. Winchester's the spot. I love it.
What should they search for on Facebook to find you?
Micah Howard and the Southern Ghost.
And I will put links to all of that on the show notes page. So links to where you can get the concert tickets, links to Katie's Comfort House, links to Micah's Facebook, all of that will be on the show notes page at thevalleytodaypodcast.com. But Micah, thank you for being part of this fundraising process and for taking some time to tell me about it today. I appreciate it.
Thank you for bringing awareness to this. This is awesome.
Brandon, Julie, I wish you guys to break that millions and millions of dollar record so that you can get this house up and be helping so many more people in our community in Katie's honor and in her memory. Thank you both for sharing your story with me today.
Thank you for having us on.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
I will be back tomorrow with a brand new episode of The Valley Today. We were talking about the Winchester Co-op Market tomorrow. Carl Knobloch, the Virginia District Director of the Small Business Administration, made the trip down as he does every month. And so we talked to some of the organizers of the market. Meet me back here for all of those details just a few minutes after noon.